Welcome back, students. How are you? I hope you are fine. Yesterday we have discussed about the reproduction. Okay, so we have discussed about the types of reproduction or the modes of reproduction, that is asexual as well as the sexual mode of reproduction. Now, today in this session we are going to discuss in detail about the sexual reproduction in case of plants. Yesterday we have discussed about one more point or one more feature in the sexual reproduction in plants is about the flower. What is flower? It is highly modified shoot meant for sexual reproduction. So we have discussed the different parts, right? Flower consists of 4 floral whorls, and these 4 floral whorls, they are called calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Okay, so we have seen the structure of flower. Okay, and so in structure of flower we have discussed about the 4 floral whorls. Okay, so 4 floral whorls are first calyx, okay, which are commonly called sepals. Then second, corolla, which are commonly called petals. Then androecium, which is commonly called male gametophyte. Male gametophyte, or simply we can refer as a male sex organ in case of flowering plants. Then fourth, gynoecium. Okay, so in gynoecium, that is again it is referred as the female gametophyte. Female gametophyte, or it is also referred as the female sex organ, or it is also referred as the carpel. So we have discussed about it. The calyx and corolla, they are referred as the non-essential whorls. Okay, non-essential whorls. Why? Because they are not participating in the process of sexual reproduction. Okay, while androecium and gynoecium, as they represent the sexes of an individual of flowering plant, that is male and the female gamete, so they are referred as the essential floral whorl. Okay, so here this is some basic information in the typical structure of flower. Now today we are going to discuss about these structures in detail, that is androecium, gynoecium. Okay, what it represents, what it does actually. Okay, so how the sexual reproduction takes place in case of flowering plant, that we are going to discuss here. So let's start with the first, that is the male gamete. Okay, how the male gamete develops. Okay, so we will study about the development of the male gametophyte. So number 1. Okay, why we are not studying calyx and corolla? Because they are not participating in the sexual reproduction, right? So what we are studying here is the sexual reproduction. Now how does it take place? So first is the male gametophyte. Okay, so male gametophyte, or the androecium. Now, while studying the structure of flower, we have discussed about the androecium. It consists of a filamentous stalk and the phylum anther. So, what it is look like? See, if we look after the structure of an anther, okay. So, male gamete in the sense anther, right? So, it consists of anther. So, it has a bilobed anther. So suppose such an anther is there, which is the bilobed one, okay. Because the anther, which is a very minute structure present in the flower, okay, you can see in the flowers at the tip part or where the flower opens, at that region there will be small stalk-like structures will be there. On that surface, the antenna-like or bird-like structure will be there, okay. That is a bilobed anther, which is connected with the stalk, right? So it is a bilobed anther, and this stalk, it is attached at the base of the ovary or on the thalamus. See, in the flower there is a part which is which can be referred as a stalk of the flower, okay. The enlarged portion is referred as thalamus, and where this stalk it is attached, okay. So here we can write as a anther and filament. Okay, so togetherly they are called as androecium. Okay, so let's see what when we cut the bilobed anther transversely. Okay, so what do we can see in this transverse section? Okay, so what we see the development of the male gamete. This is the male sex organ. Okay, but this is the sex organ. It is not the gamete. Okay, so gametes are produced within this sex organ. Now, let's assume we have seen a transverse section. Transverse in the sense, suppose this is a pen, right? You see the pen. When we cut the pen, we can see the innermost region, okay, innermost region like this. So here the bilobed anther has 4 different compartments. Okay, so I'll draw here so that we can understand how does it look after cutting. So it looks like this. Right? So here you can see such a structure can be seen or still enlarged. You can. Okay, so such a structure can be seen which consists of or which is covered by many number of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue or they are referred as the epidermal tissue also. Okay, so in the tissue chapter we have discussed about it, right? So which is consisting of multi-layered squamous epithelial tissue or the flat type of cells in case of plant. Okay, so here you can see a number of cells they are lining, and this lining is present in entire anther. Okay, entire anther is consisting of such lining. So I am just lining at a particular side so that we can understand it. Then internally it consists of a sporogenous tissue. Okay, so what is sporogenous tissue? See, basically the anther, okay, this anther acts as the site for production of male gametes, right? It acts as a site for production of male gamete. And male gamete, first of all, they get nurtured within this bilobed anther, okay? And then they will develop and come out of this bilobed anther in the form of spiny structure, okay? And then they will fall onto the flower or the stigma, right? So here, for development, they require nutrition, that is called nurturing. So here, how does it nurture? It is nurtured with the help of certain cells. So outermost cell is referred as the epidermis. Outermost layer is referred as epidermis. Next to that is the endothecium, and next to that is the tapetum. This tapetum provides the nourishment to whom? To the sporogenous tissue. This particular ring-like structure consisting of certain small spores. Okay, and these spores are nothing but the pollen grains. Okay, so here we can label it as a sporogenous tissue. So not only here but also here, again here, such a tissue is present, and it is covered by these many layers. So tapetum provides the nourishment to the sporogenous tissue, and this sporogenous tissue will develop into the pollen grain. Now what exactly the structure of pollen grain will look like? Okay, so such a structure of pollen grain after development, means after maturation, it will be seen as, okay, it will be consisting of two layers. Okay, the outer spiny and inner layer is smooth. Okay, outer spiny and inner is smooth. This spiny layer is called as the exine, and smooth layer is called interne. And there will be presence of certain pores. Okay, there will be presence of certain pores. These pores are called the germ pores. Okay, and it consists of two different types of nuclei. Within a cell there will be two cytoplasm. Okay, so the region with small cytoplasmic region and the larger cytoplasmic region. Okay, where it consists of two nuclei. Okay, one of these nuclei is referred as the vegetative nuclei. And another one is referred as the generative nuclei. Okay, so within a single cell, two nuclei are present, and these two nuclei have a significant role in the development of male gametophyte. Now see here, after maturation, such a pollen grain will be developed onto the bilobe anther. I hope you are getting this. Okay, so we'll discuss about the vegetative nuclei and generative nuclei at the time of fertilization. Okay, so when the fertilization is taking place, means after pollination. So this is about the development of male gametophyte. Now let me tell you one more thing. See here. So number of spores are there. These spores, how they multiply? They multiply by equational cell division. That is, mitotic cell division will take place. So that many number of pollen grains will be formed. And after formation of those pollen grains, okay, they will develop onto the bilobe anther, and with the following agent like wind, birds, insects, okay, even the water, they will travel from anther to stigma, and that process is called as the pollination. Okay, that is, transfer of male gamete from the anther to the stigma is called pollination, right? So these pollen grains are ready for pollination, means they are ready to fall onto the female gametophyte. Now let's talk about the development of female gametophyte, and then we'll discuss about these structures. Okay, we'll discuss about the vegetative and generative nuclei. So I hope you are getting this. Whatever points regarding this development is there, I'll provide in the notes. Okay, so just understand the concept, and if you feel any difficulty to understand, you can WhatsApp me. So second, female gametophyte or gynoecium. Okay, so gynoecium basically it is consisting of three different parts, right? What are those? I'll draw a small sketch to understand. Gynoecium, this is stigma, consists of a stalk-like structure which is enlarged at the bottom. Okay, which is enlarged at the bottom. This is called stigma. This is called style, and this part is referred as the ovary. Together they are called gynoecium. Right? Now stigma, the part which is present at the apex, okay, it is acting as a receptacle. Okay, it receives the what? Pollen grain, that is matured pollen grain, right? Which consists of exile, intine, germ pore, and then there will be development of a pollen tube from the pollen grain. Okay, how it will develop, we'll discuss about it. And it will meet into the ovary, where ovule it is present, the female gametophyte. Okay, and the fusion of male and female gamete is called fertilization. Okay, and one more significant event it is taking place during this fertilization is called double fertilization, and this double fertilization that we are going to discuss. So here, let's see the development of female gametophyte. How the female gametophyte over here is going to develop. So let's see. So here, before that, I'll draw a structure so that you will understand within the ovary what kind of structure is seen. Okay. So within the ovary, you can see such a structure. Okay, so such a structure is present within the ovary. Okay, this is the embryo sac. Okay, here there will be endosperm. Okay, these are the nuclei, different nuclei. That is the 7-celled 8 nuclei structure. So how this structure is formed or how it is developed within the ovary, that we are going to study by the different steps. Okay, so here, before I go with the particular steps, I would like to tell you that, see, whenever any kind of division or any kind of modification is taking place within the plant cells, they undergo cellular division. Okay, that can be the mitotic cell division or the meiotic cell division. Now, what is mitotic or meiotic cell division? See, there are two different types of cell divisions. First is called mitosis. Mitosis means it is called the equational cell division. That is called equational cell division. And meiosis is called reductional cell division. Okay, so mitosis is equational and meiosis is reductional. Now what does it mean basically? See, in equational cell division, suppose there is a single cell, okay, and this single cell consists of 24 chromosomes. Okay, now when it will divide, okay, it will form the similar copies, like 24 number of chromosomes will be there in that copy, and it will equally divide. Okay, it will divide equally, means it is not going to reduce the number of chromosomes. That is seen in case of mitosis. Okay, now where does this mitosis actually take place? The mitosis takes place in the somatic cells. Okay, so somatic cells means what? Entire plant body, or even in case of animals also we see the somatic cell. Our skin tissue, this consists of the somatic cell. Apart from the sex cells, okay, in the gonads they consist of gametic cells. So meiosis takes place in the gametic cell. Although we can see if there is a cut on our hand, okay, it will be repaired within couple of days. How? It is with the help of the mitotic regeneration, that is equational division. Cells will divide equally and repair that place. But in case of gametic cells, the chromosomes, okay, chromosomes which are formed, they will be reduced. Okay, the number will be reduced. How? If the number of chromosomes, that is the, we can consider it is a diploid stage. Okay, it will be the diploid, means the entire chromosome of an individual, and this diploid number will develop or will get divided into haploid set. Haploid means single set of chromosomes. So there will be division, like here there will be 12 and here there will be 12. So the number of chromosomes they are reduced. So what it is called? Reductional cell division. So see here, such a cell division is taking place in case of the development of male and female gametophyte. Now we are going through the different stages to understand how does the mitotic cell division will take place and how does the meiotic cell division will take place for the formation of male and female gametophyte. Okay, I hope you have understood this. If you have any kind of query, you can WhatsApp me. Okay, now let's move to the next point, that the steps, okay, in the development of female gametophyte. Okay, so how does this female gametophyte develops? Let's see. So I'll write here. Development of female gametophyte. Now, the female gametophyte, where they are present within the ovary, okay, how does they develop? So basically, the cells, it is a single cell basically, okay, it is a single cell, and this single cell is covered by a proteinaceous structure which provided the nutrition, okay, which provided the nutrition. So this is a single cell, and these nutritious cells are called as the parietal cells or parietal cells. Okay, this single cell undergoes mitotic cell division. So what is meant by mitotic cell division? That means the equational cell division, means what single cell will divide into similar identical, that is it will form a single cell, it will form two cell structure, okay, like this. So here two cell structure is there, right, and again it is covered by the proteinaceous structure or providing the nourishment, that is the parietal cell. Again it will undergo further mitotic division, okay, I can write here mitosis, okay, so it will undergoing mitosis first time, and later, as this is the mitotic cell, right, so number of chromosomes they are diploid over here. So how to write diploid? Diploid can be abbreviated as 2n and haploid can be abbreviated as n. Means if we are talking n number of chromosomes, it is haploid set. If we are talking 2n, that is diploid set. So here, this stage is the diploid stage. Now this stage will undergo meiosis. What is meiosis? That is called reductional division. So here, the diploid stage, okay, diploid will divide into two different identical forms, okay. So here see here, this will form two haploid cells, okay, it will form two haploid cells, and this will form two haploid cells. So here 1, 2, 3, 4. In this way we are getting the haploid set of chromosomes. Now of this, only one will undergo further further processes or further development. Okay, only one will undergo further development and other three will degenerate. Okay, one will be acting as a functional megaspore. Okay, in case of male gamete, it is called microspore. Okay, and in case of female gamete, the single individual or single cell is called megaspore. Okay, now this megaspore, what it is doing, it will undergo mitotic cell division. So you can see here this single cell. I am drawing that single cell. Okay, this is a single cell, the single nuclei. Okay, and it is a haploid one, right? Haploid means consisting of single set of chromosomes. So it is supposed to fuse with the male gamete, and at that time, haploid male and haploid female will again combine to form a diploid organism. So here, this single cell undergoes mitotic division, and with first mitotic division there will be formation of two cell or two nucleated cell. Okay, or two cells with two different nuclei. That is called first mitotic division. Then it will undergo second mitotic division, where you can see there will be formation of the four nuclei. Okay, then it will undergo third mitotic division, where there will be development of the 8 nuclei. Okay, so what it is doing, it is just multiplying the number from single, double, then 4 tetrad and sarcine, like that. So 8 number. Okay, so here you can see, so 8 number nuclei are formed. Now what happens? These nuclei which are seen over here, they will start to form the position. They will form the different position. And this entire structure will act as an embryo cell. So let's see the positioning, how this will position. Okay, of this, 3 will be positioned in the upper part, and of these 3 will be positioned in the lower part, and remaining 2, okay, from this one and from this side one, it will come at the central part. Okay, so I will show you how does it look like. So this will be the embryo sac. Of this 4, 3 will be acting as the antipodal cells. These are called antipodal cells. This structure is called embryo sac. Okay, and one will be remaining at the center. That nucleus will be remaining at the center. Other 3 from this region will develop the filiform apparatus. Okay, or the egg apparatus you can call. So here 2 synergid cells and 1 egg cell will be there. Okay, so 2 synergids and 1 egg cell, right? And remaining 1 nuclei will come at the center. Now it will form a single cell. So here such a structure is referred as, what it is referred as, 7 cell 8 nuclei. So see how many cells are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what about nucleus? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So such a structure is referred as the 7 cell 8 nucleate. Okay, such a question can be asked in the MCQs. Okay, so you need to remember this. So it is undergoing the meiotic division and the mitotic cell division. Now this is what the embryo sac is. Now embryo sac, what it does, see, embryo sac, it is present within the integument, in the female gametophyte. Okay, so there will be development of the outermost coverings over here. Okay, like this, and this coverings will consisting of the two ends. Okay, this end is called chalaza. Okay, and this end is called micropyle. This end is called micropyle. Okay, so micropyle is the region from where the male gamete enters. Okay, generally, and it may enter through the chalaza also. When the male gamete is entering from chalaza, that is called chalazogamy. Okay, and when it is entering from the micropyle, it is called sporogamy. Now here, let's see what is the role of that exile and intine type of pollen grain. Now here, I'll tell you I'll draw the structure of male gamete again. It consists of outer spiny layer, okay, and inner smooth layer, consisting of the germ pores. Okay, one cell is the vegetative and another cell will be the generative. Now the vegetative cell, the generative cell, okay, the generative cell will develop a small tube-like structure. Okay, small tube-like structure. And when it is forming the small tube-like structure, when the pollen grains, okay, when pollen grains they are falling onto the stigma. Suppose this is the pollen grain, okay, spiny pollen grain. It is falling onto the stigma, and this will be the part where ovary is seen. This structure, okay. So the pollen tube will be formed like this, and it will enter from this region. Okay, it will enter into the ovary from this region, that is micropylar region. Okay, so for entrance of the male gamete into the female gamete, there is a requirement of a tube-like structure, that is called pollen tube. Pollen tube. Okay, that is called pollen tube. Now, it is formed through the germ pore. Now, what is the function of this pollen tube? Here you see the vegetative cell. It will divide by the mitosis into two identical halves. Okay. Now, these two identical male gametes, what it will do? When it will enter from this part, it will release one male gamete, okay, onto the egg cell, and another male gamete to the central nuclei. This is called central or the polar nuclei. Okay, polar nuclei. And these are the male gametes. So the male gamete which fuses with the egg cell, okay, will form zygote. This will form zygote, and the male gamete that fuses with the central nuclei or the polar nuclei will form endosperm. Okay, endosperm means that is the nutritive substance. In case of coconut, we see the coconut water is there, or the fibrous part is there that we are eating, right? So that is nothing but an endosperm, liquid as well as hard endosperm. Even in the many different seeds, we see the powdered form is there in case of maize, in case of jawar. Okay, so what is that? It is also nothing but an endosperm, which is a nutritive substance. Now here, when so the male gamete that fuses with the egg cell will form zygote, and another male gamete fuses with the two polar nuclei. Okay, and such type of fusion is referred as triple fusion. Okay, it is seen called as triple fusion, and as two different nuclei they are fertilizing, or two male gametes they are fertilizing with the two different cells. So what it is also referred as the double fertilization. Okay, double is double fertilization. So what is that double fertilization? Fusion of two male gametes to the two different locations. Okay, so this is about the development of female gametophyte and fertilization. Now, what is fertilization? Fusion of male and female gamete. We have seen the development of male gamete, development of female gamete, fusion. Okay, that is called fertilization. And after fertilization, there will be development of fruit. Okay, so ovary will mature and it will develop into the fruit. Okay, and as the fruit is formed, there will be again development of seeds. So that is called post-fertilization modification, and that we are going to discuss in the next part. I hope you have understood this. If you find any kind of query in understanding all this concept, you can text me or to the WhatsApp. Okay? Thank you.